Hey guys, so I'm here to talk about something that I've been kind of reading about, and this is actually something that I had seen prior to just here recently, but the October 10th date was predicted by this, and on October 10th we did actually have some events that happened. Keely, on like the stock market, it was present. So what I really wanted to just look at though is there's this magazine that was posted, and I want you guys to just go to Google and type in exactly what I typed in, or you can just type in 1988 Economist magazine. And so, I don't really know too much about the Economist magazine other than from what I've read about it, it's largely owned by the Rothschilds family, which, of course, is a pretty big deal considering who that family is and what they represent. So, that being said, in 1988, they had a magazine, and the cover of that magazine was. I'll just go to a picture of it real quick and show you guys what that picture was. And so, this was the cover of the magazine, and I just want you guys to look at it and it doesn't. It's actually cutting off part of the picture in this one, but you can see a little bit of it. And as you can see, those are dollars. I'm gonna go try and find a picture that shows the full thing right here. All right, so as you can see, these are different kinds of currency, and I actually see the $5 bill. It looks like right there on the left foot of the phoenix here. And so we see the phoenix, and it has the number 10 with a coin around its neck. And of course it's standing on this pile of burning money, and around its neck it has the date of 2018 with a zero behind the one. So I'm not sure what all this symbology means. We can see that it has a crown on its head with three spikes, one coming up a little bit more prominent than the rest. And to know about this group of people, pretty much everything that they do is represented in a form of numbers and symbology. And so there's a lot of times really important information and stuff that they, talk about. So what I find significant about this though is the fact that it's holding a coin. Of course it has this year, which is, when the SEC is, supposed they put off the decision until the very end of the year. So, what we're seeing is, a large prediction from this magazine. This was in 1988, before even the internet was really a big thing. So for them to have this coin, it's pretty peculiar to me. And of course, the fact that it's standing on all this burning money, out of chaos comes the phoenix. So, and the if anybody knows, I don't want to get too much into conspiracies, but if anybody knows, the New World Order or whatever is chaos, or order out of chaos. So then we go back, and there's another key thing that a lot of people are talking about, and it is actually a really big deal because this is something that I've been reading about for years, and it is, in my opinion, a reality, and that's weather control. And if you can see on this post right here, the Silver Doctors one, it talks about they're steering Hurricane Michael as predicted, and I think that that's no coincidence, like these people are talking about, because hurricanes are an excellent way to cause distraction and get people's attention elsewhere. And the thing about that, I don't believe that they can just create hurricanes out of will, but, for them to just be able to direct it, that's definitely possible. So, anyways, aside from that, I just want to go in and find an actual article kind of talking about this. The one that I actually read earlier, I couldn't find it again, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to go on to just the top one here, and it was 4 days ago, but hopefully it talks about what the actual previous article talked about. So it says, Wednesday marks an arguably highly sufficient date in significant or I'm sorry, guys. I just got off work. Wednesday marks an arguably high significant date in Bitcoin's history, but so far nothing appears any different. According to the now infamous cover, The Economist, 30 years ago in 1988, today's watershed moment should mean the world's inhabitants are transacting in the same universal currency. Oh, and by the way, guys, I'm recording on my tablet. I haven't actually ever recorded a video on this one. I usually do it on my phone. I bought this tablet because I was trying an e-commerce thing before I got into the stock market, and I bought this specifically for that. And since then, it's just been kind of sitting, and I haven't used it, so I decided to try to use it for the video. So let me know if this is a better quality video or not. So anyways, 30 years from now, Americans, Japanese, Europeans, and people in other rich countries, and some relatively poor ones, will probably be paying for their shopping with the same currency. And, by the same currency, we can already see that, aside from all the other fiat currencies of Bitcoin is pretty much widely used across the whole world. So I do believe that at this point, Bitcoin is already basically a world currency. It's not a one world currency, but it is a world currency. It's recognized all over the world as being Bitcoin. There are probably still some remote locations that, it's not in on yet and might not be for some time. But at this point, widely, at least people know of Bitcoin. It's just, it doesn't have the implementation yet, but, it is widely known. Okay, so anyways, the cover art depicts a phoenix, the economist's preferred metaphor for this currency, surrounding a coin with the numbers 10 and 2018 engraved in it. Beneath it, the dollar burns. Speculators for years have wondered whether the implied decline October 10th, 2018 implies a major change could still occur. The deadline has come and the world is indeed transacting in one currency of choice, Bitcoin, but only in tiny numbers. Cryptocurrency, prophecy, or just useless. From the tone of the article, The Economist appears to expect more progress to have been made by this point than has occurred in reality. And of course, that could be a variance of different things. Of course, the presidential election that happened, and I'm not going to go into politics, but just other things that they can't really, they couldn't know exactly, but I don't know, their prediction seems pretty accurate, from being in 1988, whenever Bitcoin wasn't even a thing until I think 2008 or 2009. So for them to be talking about this in 88, that's still a pretty big deal. So anyways, prices will be quoted not in dollars, yen, or D-marks, but in, let's say, the Phoenix, which would be Bitcoin, or whatever cryptocurrency arises to be the most useful. The Phoenix will be favored by companies and shoppers because it will be more convenient than today's national currencies, which by then will seem quaint because of the disruption to the economic life in the last 20th century. And so it's talking about pretty much, they're talking about the original article, of course. A grain of truth can certainly be felt in some of the publicators' predictions. But as October 10th rolls on, Bitcoin appears to be unprepared for a seismic shift. And around that date is actually also when things took a plunge. So, I think there's reasoning behind everything. Alright. So that article didn't really talk too much about it. It didn't really talk about it as much in depth as I was kind of wanting to show you guys. That was just kind of like a little overview, I guess. But you guys should definitely look into this. And so if you guys are still watching, I do apologize for going into conspiracy type stuff. But at this point, if you're in on crypto, you can definitely see how this is becoming a reality. As far as that goes, at some point, if the cryptocurrency approval does come through, it's inevitable for traditional currency to collapse. That's inevitable. Now, in what time frame and when, that's all left to speculation. But if cryptocurrency becomes a main form of currency, traditional currency is destined to fail. They can't coexist. It would be pointless because cryptocurrency, the idea of it is to be more use, and it should just be more convenient per se than the traditional dollar. Now, there's a couple things that, to be honest, kind of. Sorry, guys, I was trying not to get off topic. So, anyways, so I was just pulled up this article. It's from AsianCryptoToday.com, whatever. Um, so, right here it's talking about the article, and this is in quotations. There's something from the magazine. It says in 30 years, Americans, Japanese, Europeans, and resident. That actually said that in the other one. So, anyways. I just wanted to just see what this information on here said, and it's basically the same thing. Okay. Alright, guys. So just do your own research on that. Maybe watch some videos on YouTube. That's where I learned about it at first. So, anyways, aside from that, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that could possibly happen, and I just want to be prepared. And I know, if the dollar does crash, that'll also mean that the stock market will crash and everything else. So I just want to, be prepared, and I want to find out which types of businesses and stuff like that thrive in that type of situation, and so the main thing though is right now I see that if something crazy were to happen with the dollar whenever it comes to cryptocurrency, and it has to save the day because of something happening, banks could just shut down, and you could go to the ATM with your debit card, and what if the machine's just not on? What if it just doesn't work? And you're like, wait a minute, what? So you go to the bank and it's during normal business hours and the bank's closed. And you have all your money in a bank account because, nothing's supposed to be more secure than a bank account. Your bank account is basically, in today's age, it's more or less like your life. It's your livelihood. It's like how you survive. Without it, without all your money there, your safety net, you have, your basic survival instincts have to kick in. So I want to be prepared for that. And I don't believe that if a drastic situation like that happens, I don't believe that cryptocurrency is going to be of any help at that time. That's not what I'm saying, because I think at that point, if something like that were to happen, cryptocurrency for the moment would be worthless until everything was calmed down and then it was implemented, which would happen. But so at that point, that's whenever the real money or the real people who have cryptocurrency would come out on top. And so more or less, I just feel like I just want to hold my crypto coins, and I have several different ones. And XRP is one that I've really become fixated with. It just has so much already. Like with Dogecoin, Dogecoin's great, and I'm still gonna hold on to my Dogecoins. But as far as actual use, Dogecoin doesn't have that yet, and I'm not saying that it's not gonna have that. But at this point, XRP already has so many different possible uses and so much attention. You know, I just want to hold on to XRP, and of course I have several other smaller cryptos that I'm going to hold on to because one day I feel like they're going to be worth more, but I definitely don't feel like they're going to be worth less. And that's the main thing when it comes down to like trying to protect your money. Um, you want to have a safe vehicle for your money to be in. And growing your money is an amazing thing. And the thing with crypto is we don't know what it's going to do. We all believe it's going to rise, but I don't see it going down. And that's the important thing. It could have dips or whatever, but over the long term, just ask yourself an honest question. Is crypto going to be worth less in the future than it is now? And I highly doubt it, because it's gonna be implemented. And so that just leaves us to say, okay, so we already know the dollar is, having such inflation. There's all these different problems going on. Our money, okay, now property is another like safety vehicle for your money. Buy property because that's a solid asset. That's something that you have that is worth something. A dollar bill is only worth a dollar bill until something happens. A dollar bill will most likely never be worth more than a dollar bill. And so that's one thing that you really have to ask yourself. You have, say, $10,000 cash. Okay, so now say that there's this house, or, that'd be a really cheap house. But let's say that there's this lot, a nice lot of land in a good area. It's a $10,000 lot, and you have the opportunity to buy that. And assuming that the $10,000 isn't all you own and that you have like the basic necessities to pay bills and stuff like that. So now you could have this opportunity to buy this lot, and you think that this lot could be worth more than $10,000 in the future. So it would kind of be silly if you had this opportunity in front of your eyes to pass it up, and instead you let your money sit in the bank, and since you have all this money sitting in the bank, you spend it, all these other things. And so it depreciates, it goes down as you're spending it. Or say you don't spend it and you do good and you just save it. It just doesn't move. It stays right where it's at. So, already there's a benefit, even if nothing crazy does happen, there's already a benefit in investing your money. And now say that something were to happen to money. You have $10,000 in the bank and you just had this opportunity last week to buy this lot of land for $10,000 and you didn't pass it up. Now, say that lot of land is somewhere other than where I live, which is the desert. Now the dollar crashes and people will revert to their basic necessities for a short time. I don't believe something like that would happen for too long. But if something were to happen like that, then people revert to their basic necessities, and that land automatically becomes worth much more due to being able to use it to grow food or just other things like that. So that's what I see crypto as. I don't have the money to go out and buy stuff like that, but I do have extra money whenever I get my paychecks. I always have a little bit of extra money. And, prior to starting to invest into crypto and stocks and stuff like that, I would just spend that money on going out to eat or, I'd buy some beer or just whatever I wanted. I would just impulsively just spend the money because, I had it, my bills were paid, whatever. And then I'm like, man, I'm just not getting anywhere. And then, that's what made me want to start investing. But at this point, I feel like investing is more of a way of preserving what you have. And that's kind of what I'm starting to shift to, possibly just over the course of the next few months, because Um, Already the decision for that's got put off. Just a lot of different things could really happen. So I just want to have my money to where it's safe. And so that being said, I don't have as much right now into crypto as I do the stock market, but I'm going to start to put more into the cryptos and a little bit less into the stock market. Just just until after probably the end of the year. So that's just kind of what I think, guys. And I know this has been a really long video. It's just that this is something that I've been reading about, and it's just something that's really I don't know. Like whenever I first watched the video of this guy talking about this, and I wish I could find that exact video, but it's just one that popped up on my suggested feed. It like made me get really goosebumps, and like my eyes watered a little bit because I was like, wow, man, this guy's saying some real stuff right now. And I was like, oh my gosh, and this all makes sense, you know. And then he kind of veered off, and at the end he went into some extreme conspiracy stuff, and that's cool. But I don't want to get too much into the extreme conspiracy because I feel like what I've already talked about is pretty extreme. Hopefully, we don't actually experience anything like that. But, if something like that were to happen, I just want to try to be in a position to where I at least have a backup plan. Maybe not a grade A backup plan, like all in, like worried that it's going to happen. But I just want to at least have some type of backup. I don't want to have all my money in a bank account. Because if something were to happen, that would instantly be inaccessible and potentially lost. So that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about. And I know that this has been a really long video, and it's mainly just me talking and not really showing anything. It's because mainly at this point, I would prefer for you guys to go and do your own looking into this. And of course, don't go by what I say. Just go look at it. Read multiple different sources. Watch different videos, and I think you'll be pretty shocked with what you find, and maybe a little excited. And I don't know. For me, it also is pretty scary because I don't want to go into too much into the reasons of why I find it very scary, because I don't want to offend anyone with anything that I have to say, and I want the content on this channel to be for anyone and everyone. I don't want to have put my personal opinions out there that might be offensive to other people as far as that goes, just because that's just how it is today. And so I'm trying to be respectful when it comes to that. But if anybody is still watching this, I definitely appreciate your time, and I do apologize for this video being so long. It's just that this is just a really crazy thing, and it's mainly all speculation. But for something coming from 1988, and you just gotta look at who it is coming from. For them to 1988 to even have an idea of a coin, or just any of the symbology, really, it's just kind of meaningful because Bitcoin, it has a coin around its neck. Why couldn't it have been called something a little different? And the original inventor of Bitcoin is just some anonymous person, who nobody even has ever seen or met or heard of. Those are just some pretty strange coincidences. And I don't believe they're coincidences all, but that's just my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I appreciate your guys' time, and I might make some more videos on this, but I'm going to try not to go into conspiracy theories, because I want to stay on the truth side of things. And the thing with conspiracy theories is you don't really know what's true. You can only really believe what resonates with you and your personal opinion. So, that being said, information interpreted through this type of stuff can be extremely wrong. So, just do your own research, form your own opinions, and I would definitely be very interested to hear what you guys think about this. Because to me, once I started watching, I just wanted to keep watching more. And in the last 2 days is whenever I really started reading about it. And, even while I was at work, it's just what I was thinking about. Whenever I went to sleep last night, I was just hoping to have some type of dreams to where, I would be able to, because I a lot of times use sleep to help think about situations and come up with solutions. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this. You guys have a great night and enjoy your, tomorrow. All right, guys. Peace out.